Okay, guys, so anyway, I just think I'll wind this up, but we live in such a celebrity culture. I mean, it's like we aspire to these top of the rank, top of the chart, top of the, the whole step ladder, salary when, the average person, and, I've been more like a working class person, just working and just, and whenever I'm not working, I'm very frugal. And let's put it like that. But I'm always working, I'm working. Every day I either try to get auditions or I submit for jobs, and I've done all kinds of things. And most people, well, no, a lot of people my age are retired, okay? So, but I can't afford to totally just stop like that. I have to keep going to try to do other things. And even if I didn't need the extra money and all this, I would like to be busy. And so, which leads me to my next project, which is back. I was going to those classes every week. They were like a special, like a little seminar where we were like decluttering and working on things, self-healing from my CSA and different things, childhood trauma and stuff. But a lot of it is showing up in your, whether you have a love life or not, or whether you're making a decent living or not, or whether you're, especially as a woman, or whether your place is nice and neat and clean and organized. So, and it varies for me because I'm still hanging on to things from a long time ago. So, if I was to meet someone at this point, because those times when I was in more serious relationships, I didn't have as much to begin with. But as time goes on and you start living by yourself a lot, you'll end up with more books and clothes, which, for somebody who has at one point moved a lot, at one point, probably, never say never, but technically shouldn't have had that many books and clothes. But occasionally I would declutter more or put some things in storage, but then that's another bill to pay, see. So, but I have actually, since I'm in 450 square feet, and I've talked about this before, if somebody's never listened, but this has really forced me into more decluttering. And so when I do meet the right guy, and probably would need to move into his house unless I win the lottery or something at this point, or start getting big TV and movie roles that pay decent, but the bottom line is at my age, it's okay to have like boyfriends or friends, but ultimately I would like to try one more time to see. That's my cat now wanting back in, but as soon as he comes in, he kind of acts kind of crazy at night a little bit until he settles. Okay, 1 minute, Austin. So, anyway, so I need to declutter and clean more and want to lose weight. But if you wait till everything's perfect, till everything's decluttered, till everything's cleaned, till you're making more money again, till your weight is off or whatever. I mean, it's mainly in my stomach. I think at one point I used to really love beer. I mean, I still drink it occasionally, but I used to really like it a lot. And that it puts some weight on everybody, if in moderation. But a lot of the guys that look great that drink beer, or women too, they're always at the gym because they're working off all those carbs and stuff, So, and I like carbs as it is, and being on a budget, I eat probably too many carbs, but I'm trying to get more protein. But anyway, back to the other, it is what it is. And, but I really think that if I've given myself a year now to, I'm just like trying to get myself together more and maybe try to be a role model for people that are feeling kind of down in the dumps or something. we're not going to get out of this life alive. We may not all live to be 99 like my grandma. My mom should have lived a long time. If she hadn't gotten cancer, my mom would probably still be here. And she would be over 100 and something now. So anyway, but, you know, because she lived to be 80 with cancer, and I helped her fight it a lot just by being there for her, and we do fun things, drive her around. I just drive her around, get her mind off stuff, and take her places. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, that's one of my goals. You know, you have to kind of like, but then it's not the end of the world. I've done a lot for people too, you know, and I've helped people a lot in counseling them just in the jobs I've had or just in friendships. I've helped people a lot and they've helped me. I mean, you know, I've been to counseling and all that, but in all kinds of groups, but sometimes your friends can help you and you can help them. And people do grow and change. I think that's where people get in trouble when they try to stay stagnant. And whenever I've started to grow and change, then somehow I'll retreat back to my old ways, whatever it is. I've gone in and out of professions, you know, different ways, you know, my different careers, and just my weight used to really go up and down a lot, you know. Now I'm trying to make it on a slow decline of the weight and incline of the health, you know. Da, da, da. So anyway, but I think I finally know how to have a successful relationship, though, if I have one. But you know, the catch is you really have to find someone that you are attracted to, because the thing of it is, if you're not attracted to them that much, it's going to be more difficult to, you know, and you could build that up to, you know, whatever, but I have felt something for someone the last few years that was kind of ridiculous, but it's neither here nor there, and you know, but it's not, you know, I don't think it's the first time I felt that way though. I've slept since then. I mean, but when you're younger, you have different kinds of feelings, and you don't even know for sure if it's love or lust or both, or you just. I do think that sometimes certain people are just meant to be together. I think, and sometimes somebody will feel, like in the movies and the old musicals, one person will feel this way, kind of like the first one like that was like really old, and I don't want to say how old I am or anything, but I was literally a baby. The first time I was in a movie theater, I was literally like almost like a little toddler. And we went to go see Gone with the Wind. Okay, it was I'm gonna say only 50 cents, or I don't remember but I remember later on, years and years later, a long time, it was only like 50 cents or $1, and then finally it went up to $5 or something. But Casa Linda Theaters in Dallas, so over there in Casa Linda by White Rock Lake, and so. There she was, you know, she had Rhett Butler, but then she kept thinking about Ashley. But, you know, people do stuff like that, though. I've done it, but not, you know what? I've usually snapped out of it. I usually had either a friend who, like Cher in that other movie, Moonlight, where she comes and just slaps them, snap out of it. They haven't slapped me. Well, one pulled my ears one time, but I've had friends help me get over ones. And they were not celebs or anything. I mean, these were just regular men to date, you know, that I mean, I could go out with a guy that was a car salesman, and I could put him on a pedestal like he was way beyond, you know, like a big name, Lee Iacocca or Chevrolet or anybody. He was just like a Ford, you know, he was like he's a car salesman, and he had a lot of other problems too, which I won't go into all that right now, but, he was a good salesman, I guess. So, but anyway, and he was always kind of hyper, you know, like wanting to do stuff, but yeah, I put a lot of men on pedestals in the past that, you know, I can't even believe I did say something like the Kevin Costner imposter. I said, which is true. I actually, one of my ex-boyfriends, had a former girlfriend that actually went out with Kevin Costner in Dallas. I'm not sure if it was in Dallas or Houston or what, but anyway, I thought that was interesting. But here I am telling an imposter that. But I don't ever give out names or anything, but it's just, here I am being lonely. In fact, I try not to even talk about the imposters anymore, what they are. But basically, I'm only like following 2 right now, or actually just need to block 2. And that's it. But back to what's safe to do. It's safe to go ahead if you want to be a big fan of different celebrities, or even try to get in their network, because you might get lucky. If you're a professional actor and you're trying to network with other actors, there are a few actors and A-listers even, excuse me, A-listers even that are. I'm just drinking water tonight because I can't drink coffee at night. But anyway, yeah, there are a few A-listers online. I was eating some raisins earlier, and in there, but it's hard to tell, and they can waste up a lot of your time. So if you really want to work with certain actors, or try to get the auditions, the best thing to do is just call your agents, And I think that one day when I was left that email by my agent probably thought I was going cuckoo, the whole. But at the end of the day, about these celeb imposters. And I had even sent some little videos and things. They said, well, we'd like to see your acting and videos. And of course, it always is going to lead up to some kind of scam. Oh, for like thousands of dollars, you can get into this program or that program, or whatever. Or they'll always, and they don't listen. Some of them, they'll say, oh, you want to. They'll say, I have a producer friend that can help you if you want to learn how to be an actress. I said, well, I am an actress and I've taken tons of classes. That's how I ended up maxing out charge cards, so that I don't have it for you, and I wouldn't either, because if I figured you're an imposter, why would I? And why would a successful celeb be asking money from his fans? See, that's the whole thing is really, and if you really want to get over a crush on somebody, it really can knock a lot of that out of you too, which might be good in a way, because, we've all had when we were younger, had crushes on different ones. At one point, I had a crush on Tom Cruise, and then it was John Cusack, and then Hugh Grant, and then anyone that was cute, that was single at a certain time. Like, if they're married or had a girlfriend, I try not to think, but you don't even know which is what now. And a lot of times, seen celebrities for years and years and never found them interesting, and then all of a sudden they're interesting. And but I am an older single, and I would love to meet someone nice in the industry. I mean, I would hope if he's a celeb, he's not mixed up with all those crazy people. And, I hope he got there with his talent and his hard work, which I'm sure he did, or whichever one, or whoever. But the bottom line is, even if you're like pinching pennies and like going like this with your bills and trying to work, and you're undecided on, like if you're like me, okay, for example, you still have to be careful, even if you got involved with one of them, because you don't know. You would to find out what they're all about, because, well, first of all, some of them could have, this is just me imagining, I may be totally wrong. I would imagine that some have opportunities daily to be with women. I would think. Sometimes I think it's just the excitement of it, and people build up so much onto a film, especially if it's a romantic comedy or any kind of romantic film, or they build up, as one myself, I've taken a lot of acting classes, and it's funny because you have to bring yourself into the character, but it's really you, and the ones that make it to A stardom usually have that ability to totally make that character like them, like that's almost they are the character, but it's really you as the character, but it's it makes it more real, which, so, and I can kind of do that, but I mean, it's depends on the character, of course. I have a very real quality to my work. But anyway, sometimes because of the storylines, especially if it's like a happily ever after, or he's really a charming guy, and most protagonists in films are, the main character is like, even if they have a lot of problems, they're like, there's somebody, the lovable loser, or the successful one that, you just need to get to his heart, because deep down inside he's always trying to be perfect and successful, but deep down inside he wants more love, and you have to sort of, get to that character part of them. But they all have a different character that we see in them, and it may be that person in real life, some of it, but then remember the rest of it's a character. I mean, maybe, you know, for example, we all know the stories about Cary Grant or Rock Hudson, or all the ones we might have had crushes on when we were younger too, just growing up watching films like that. Um, they're still may not be attracted to who we think they are. I mean, the better the actor. In fact, a lot of famous, they found out later, decades later, this actor was gay, but they were such fantastic actors, nobody would have ever known. Just as charming as could be, just, you know. And some people just have that kind of sexy thing going, they just have it like, and women, we can kind of, I can just be myself and have that, I think. But sometimes women either like we just pour on, which I haven't really no makeup or anything. Like I might have put a little bit of lipstick, but I should, I didn't really make up, like put little. I get these little dark circles sometimes underneath my eyes, and I should actually put on more makeup and do things and have my mic on so it sounds better and all the stuff. But women were either like, well, like for example, back when I used to go to more singles parties or nightclubs with friends, and you get all decked out, you're just decked out from head to toe, and you're really kind of, well, you're not like a prowl like in that song Man Eater or whatever that, but Here She Comes. I was just thinking, because they were playing that the other day on the radio, but like the whole disco scene, but it's not really like that. It's just like being a little more proactive, being out there kind of, or we're totally like down in our just, like how I am right now, just kind of relaxed and kind of like at home and just kind of like chilled out and not really bothered by it. And I've got friends that are older than me and some that are younger than me that really, at this point, they've been through different ones and different experiences, and maybe they're divorced or maybe they've never been married, but for whatever reason, it doesn't bother them like it used to. And it doesn't really bother me like it used to either. But the fact that it doesn't bother me like it used to bothers me. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but I think when you really do have feelings for someone, you have to let them know if you can. So, and if it's somebody that's kind of hard to reach, or like if you might have had some chances just to flirt with them, maybe you couldn't, you wigged out. I've done that. And it had nothing to do with somebody being a celebrity or anything. This was just in my life. There's been times, and I'm sure there's been times when you have too, when there were some guys, like if you're a woman and there was some guy you really wanted to talk to or flirt with at work or someplace, and you just didn't. Or, I guess men have the same problem too sometimes, and people assume that if somebody doesn't talk to them, okay, 1 minute, Austin, as soon as he comes in, he becomes he runs all over crazy, and then hopefully he'll settle down though tonight, because I don't want him in and out all night. So, it's just because it's springtime, and spring has sprung. So, the weather's finally better. So I want to do some housework this weekend, I hope. I'm going to have to, I'd love to fall in love with a man that would help me a little bit with housework, or help me, or, you know, like, we had enough money where we could get some maid service and stuff. So, but my biggest thing is, you know, I don't even have a washer dryer in here, and I have to slap stuff up to the laundromat back and forth when I do the laundry, and then I've got, you know, no dishwasher. It's really difficult, and because of my budget and everything I'm going through, I mean, financially, just everything that basically just what a lot of people are going through right now, just, you know, lower income and higher expenses, everything. And although I've gotten it down here by living here, but yeah, this kitchen's really tiny, and for the first time in my life, I'm cooking more than ever before, because I'm having to really cook, and it saves money. And you could always just cook real cheap stuff like beans and stuff, and rice and eggs, and you can have sardines and beans, and you can have like make pancakes, or just out of the box, or have the eggs, or like those ground meat patties. Like, not the, even if you want the cheapest kind, would be ground chicken patties or something. You know, they're okay. So anyway, that's all, guys. I just think that yeah. So for me, in a way, it's kind of good though, because it gets me kind of thinking. Well, maybe I will meet, you know, the right guy, and have to be ready. But I have talked about housework since the day I was a little kid. And I had to do a lot of housework in our house, even though we did, sometimes my parents had a business, and sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes every month or two, we'd have a maid service come, and a lady help us do stuff, and I helped her too, you know, like we used to do ironing and laundry, and I sort of like doing laundry if the laundry thing is in my place. But I found out about a laundromat here that maybe this one lady I met, she met her husband over there, so maybe, you know what, I could probably be happier. And then I'm not, because I'm older, I had some issues with some dental work that I have to have done. So, and they had given me at one point a couple years ago a temporary partial, but it just didn't fit right, and I can't talk with it. And but anyway, so, but no, I mean, I am self-conscious, I'll be honest with you, because especially after being out in Hollywood and doing all that, but most of the time I've just auditioned for, it looked like a grasshopper got in here, but there's a baby one. But yeah, so, but you're self-conscious about your looks, but I have never had any work done. And people think mainly 45 or 50 usually, and although I'm somewhat older than that. I don't want to say exactly, but some people know me. If you want to get to know me better, just mention it, and then, you know. But I mean, I am self-conscious about my weight too, and but I'm working on it. But everything becomes a little more challenging as you get older. But then you learn to deal with it. See, and and my other neighbor gave me the big jar of. Next time I can show you garlic and honey, and eat a lot of those, and that helped with my sprained ankle. In addition to Angela's roll-on, you know, gets rid of pain, those castor oil with all kinds of herbs, and she prays over it, and the hot mom oil, that, and I can still sell all that with the celery wands and everything. And I haven't sold any of the Aliabo yet. But anyway, all that helps with inflammation. And especially if you just drink that Aliabo, it's more expensive. But let me know if you want to know more about all that. So anyway, but yeah, it's challenging to cook in a smaller place. But the bottom line is, I have big hopes and dreams. I want to finally get it right. I've never allowed myself to just be comfortable finding the right guy. And, you know, I've like I said, I've dated a lot. I was married once. I was engaged to another guy, but it was all like in a whirlwind. But I don't think I really knew. Well, nobody does. When there are a lot of people when they're younger, especially if they're CSA victims, and that does cause a little bit of ADHD, not a lot, um, but I did drink a little bit. I still had a little bit of that left that Angela had given me. It's that oh God, I can't think of the name of it now. Reverb, uh, regenerate. It's a powder, and you can put it in like your water or your kind of lukewarm tea or coffee. If it's not real hot, you don't want it to ruin it, but you can put it like in your coffee, like with just a little bit of butter and this regenerate mix, like in your coffee. Or, and of course, you could also put protein mix in your coffee. And then, of course, the egg thing where you could put the egg or the milk or the sugar or whatever. But anyway, I guess it's just that I feel that I'm on my way to that, and but I have always worked all my life and tried to be independent, but I have never made a lot of money, and I've ended up telling the imposters that, and just say even for example, if it was really that person, which they're imposters. But first of all, a successful man like that is not going to ask a woman for money like that. That's just not good manners. That's not, it wouldn't make any difference whether I'm a lot older than I am, even, whether somebody is 21, 22 years old, or whether they're, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100. It wouldn't matter because it's just not right. They wouldn't do it. Plus, if a man was continually texting you, that's what I told, which I, shouldn't even, but maybe by being on there longer with them, I keep them from messing with somebody else, and then sooner or later they can all get caught, because most of them all got caught. We blocked and reported, a lot of us networked to just block and report a lot of them, and we talk about different ones, and then we